Hello and welcome to Music with Mason. My name is Mason Fall. I'm here joined with the hard rock band from Lincoln, Nebraska. We got Cyphen.
Come together, fight the power, anger is my name. Got it tough, I'll fuck you up in the best way.
Here with us. How are you guys doing over there?
Doing awesome. How you doing? Doing good, man.
All right, so Cyphen, you guys recently played at Therapy Bar and Grill alongside Viserys and Oriole, and you're also known for your songs Heart Ripper and also Death Cloud, which I'm very impressed with. So just to get started, where did each of you learn your instruments and where did you learn to sing?
This funny enough, that's Viserys' material that you listen to. We recently put out a single called "Hell Out of Me." Our next song is called "Absence," and we have a third song out more recently that we released. January 30th?
Yeah, that was all my sins.
Oh wow, I'm sorry guys, technical difficulties.
That's all good. It's hard to keep up with the metal scene around Lincoln and Omaha. We get mixed up for an Omaha band all the time.
Right.
But on the
back to the question.
Yeah, where we learned stuff. Playing drums. I've been playing drums for almost 20 years now, and I learned in elementary school because I wanted to play saxophone, but we already had a saxophone player in our elementary band, and that was the only position that was filled. So I figured I'd try it. And I mean, keep a long story short, been in a couple bands, and now I'm in Cyphen, just hanging out with these guys and having a good time.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. And I learned how to play guitar mostly. I watched my dad just messing around on the acoustic guitar growing up, and hearing the different kinds of music he would play in the car stereo and at home. I thought, I kind of like this, but then for a little while I wanted to be a bass player, but my mom and the salesperson at Guitar Center, who was a guitar player turned bass player, convinced me to start out with the guitar, and I thought it was a little bit better of a fit, I suppose.
Right.
Nah. When it comes to singing, I mean, I've been around a family of musicians about my entire life. So my grandpa was in a band back in the 70s, and then my dad's been singing since I've been in Pampers. So growing up, it's kind of just been, I've been in the musical lifestyle, and singing has always just been like my favorite out of all of the instruments that I've played. So I self-taught myself with drums, guitar, bass, all the whole shebang, but just singing has just always been my favorite thing to do, so I just stuck with it.
Sadly, we don't have our bass player here with us. He got sick.
Right. Hopefully he's gonna get better soon. So.
Yeah, we're hoping so as well.
So, for each of you, do you have any personal favorite bands that really inspired you to just start playing music?
Yeah, I've grown up, like I said, I was in a musical family. The majority of the music I was into was more like the 2000s rock. So a couple of my favorite bands that I've kind of stuck my roots to is Shinedown, 3 Days Grace, Breaking Benjamin, Caesar. They've always been like my niche, but growing up and getting a little bit older and getting more into like the hard rock and metal scene, bands like Memphis Mayfire, Fifth Ward King, Wage War, and Beartooth have always been like my go-to bands when it comes to teaching myself how to actually do compressed screams.
Right.
And I'm kind of all over the map musically with guitar. I grew up listening to everything from like 90s and 2000s country like John Hyatt and Lyle Lovett to the blues to like 80s hardcore punk, lots of Dead Kennedys.
Oh yeah. Now we're talking.
I love this guy. But then as I kind of lean more towards the Dead Kennedys in that aspect, but I still have a little bit of influence from the country, the blues, and like I love me some Prince. But then the hardcore side, I got into Dead Kennedys, and then who did they influence? Like they influenced thrash bands like Suicidal Tendencies and Metallica a little bit. Not, you can't really hear any hardcore punk influence in their music, but it's there. And then obviously Metallica is on the list for me. I got Slipknot was my introduction to the heavier, like more guttural screams, that side of metal music, and then I just went full bore. I'm like, okay, now I'm in love with Amon Amarth. Now I love Cannibal Corpse. Now I love like Skeletal Remains and Crypta and like bands like that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Growing up, my dad played guitar, like whenever he could, especially when I was young. He wrote quite a few songs, and I started learning those on acoustic guitar and was getting used to playing acoustic. And then he started showing me all of his like classic rock that he listened to. So I mean, when it comes to classic rock, I know quite a bit. Anything from like Styx to Eagles to Def Leppard, Black Sabbath. I know that's a little more metal, but that Heart, a lot of those bands that had a good flow and just really defined the whole genre. And Supertramp was one of his favorites, so I really got into them. And then he started showing me heavier stuff, like Van Halen was a big one, and listening to just the duality of Alex and Eddie, it blew my mind. I would listen to songs and think, oh, there's no way Eddie Van Halen can't play this or something like that. And then he showed me Rammstein, and that was my big introduction to how heavy some bands could really get. I got pretty into Rammstein. My dad only had 2 albums, and I would listen to them over and over and over. And for a long time, it was just Rammstein and Van Halen. And then I started to branch off on my own. Found Metallica was the first band that I really noticed that I started liking heavy metal and wanted to listen to more of that. Then got into Tenacious D after that, and then was just playing drums in my middle school and high school years, and just playing all sorts of stuff and trying to play along with the songs that I knew, all the classic rock songs, and discovered Avenged Sevenfold along those lines, and that just immediately turned my whole drumming world upside down. I found something that I couldn't play and wanted to more than I wanted to play Van Halen. Still wish I could play Van Halen, but especially on guitar. But then from Avenged Sevenfold, it was Slipknot, Cannibal Corpse, Ginger, and then had a bunch of Tool was a huge influence for me. That was another band that just completely changed the way I drum. Actually, mean that. I got into all that polyrhythm stuff and really tried my hand at that. Totally sucked at it, but it was worth it. And a couple of my friends out in Omaha that I knew from school were talking about bands that they knew out there. Got into a band called Pornographer, and they are just so heavy. Like, they're ridiculous. And then from there, one of the guys in that band was doing his own thing called Orpheus, and I knew that I wanted to do speed metal from then on. Like, before then, like, I'd gotten into Lamb of God and stuff, but just seeing that stuff live in a small venue and watching these guys be able to just destroy crowds with their music was insane. And then now, my favorite band of all time is a band out of West Virginia, Byzantine. They are the grooviest groove metal I have ever heard. They are the sickest band in the world. But yeah, long live the Empire.
Right on. All right. So I have a few questions for Cody and Will. No, not Cody. I'm just not on my money today, guys. I'm so sorry. So I meant Bryant and Will. So starting off with Bryant, I understand that you're a Chiefs fan, and are you also a fan of Hard Knocks?
Yeah, I actually have been watching that.
So what could you say, like which episode would you think is more like better than the rest? Do you have a personal favorite?
So I have a personal favorite episode, but I did really enjoy last year's season of the Colts. It really got me in depth with the whole vision of just the whole like rebuilding process and stuff like that. Whenever I play Madden, I always lean myself away from, just getting on franchise and playing as a powerhouse team as the Chiefs. My favorite thing to do is become like the owner or the head coach and get into like more of the like the teams that need the help. And so watching Hard Knocks and just seeing like, the whole entire Colts season of just watching Frank Reich trying to turn the team around with not many pieces, like I just really enjoyed that season.
All right. So again, for Bryant, who is Tommy?
Tommy would be my cat.
And do you have any other pets?
I do not. I only have Thomas, my cat, because he is a bunch of pets as himself. So he likes to chase his own tail. I think he forgets that his tail is a part of his body, and I'm pretty sure only dogs are supposed to do that. So I kind of got like a cat dog all in one. So he's awesome.
Because it was super interesting. I looked through a few of your profiles, and some of your pictures, you had 2 pit bulls, I believe, like 2 dogs in one of those pictures.
Yeah, it's actually so my mom, when I was growing up, I had a boxer pit and then a blue nose pit. The boxer pit's name was Dax, and he sadly passed away about 2 years ago. But then my blue nose pit, Rhea, and she's still alive and kicking. They're very, very beautiful dogs.
Right on. All dogs go to heaven, so.
Yep.
For Will, I noticed in one of your posts on Instagram, you use a Jim Dunlop pick on your guitar.
That's right.
Who's Jim Dunlop?
Jim Dunlop. Well, Jim Dunlop is the man who founded a company who's eponymous with Jim Dunlop. They make all sorts of various guitar products, from like pedals to guitar straps to guitar picks. I have a couple of Jim Dunlop pedals. Well, one for sure. I got the classic wah-wah pedal, because that's kind of a given for any guitar player at this point, right?
Right.
So yeah, I like experimenting with different kinds of gear and picks are a part of that. I kind of jump around in between different picks, different brands of picks, but Dunlop's they're always the reliable source
Right.
for that gear. I'd say so. Then that was one of my first packs of picks that I bought was Dunlop guitar picks, and they were, can't remember how old I was. I was probably like 13 or something. Like, finally got my own money. I'm gonna go out and blow it on guitar picks and guitar strings. I don't know how to put my strings on my guitar yet, but I'm gonna figure it out.
That's how good. That's how really good guitarists are made. So,
I would hope so.
so I know it's been a while ago, but did you visit a Stevie Ray Vaughan statue?
Yeah, I went down to Austin, Texas, and went to pay homage to Stevie Ray Vaughan. His memorial there in Austin, Texas. I've only been there once, so I can't name the river off the top of my head. But yeah, down there for a family vacation, and happened to be at the same time as South by Southwest, which lots of great music, but also a traffic nightmare. But at the end of the day, I just kind of found myself wandering around and found the Stevie Ray Vaughan statue, and I thought, oh, this is
Just pretty interesting sight. Just seeing that.
yeah. And I had heard about it, but I didn't know where it was. I looked it up. I thought, oh, I'm like 3 minutes away. See you later, Mom. Don't wait up. I'll be back.
So, I was hoping you or Cody, but since he isn't here, you might know this band. Does the band Mistaken mean anything to you?
That was Cody and I's one of our bands together, and Mistaken was actually formed out of another previous band. It was a cover band by the name of, we used to be called Trexler, and we had another lead singer who is a fantastic guy, like great dude, but it just wasn't, like, things weren't clicking, so we all like formed another band on the side, kind of, and we started playing a bunch of gigs and got offers for hopping on a short leg of a tour with a band called October Rage, which has since disbanded, but they're fantastic rock band from Australia. But yeah, Mistaken. I kind of cut my teeth in Mistaken recording and like figuring out the stage image and like how I want to present myself on stage. And a lot of cool opportunities came from that band, but it sadly didn't work out. And we still talk to one of the other members. But yeah, obviously Cody and I are still rocking on. We got Cyphen now.
Right? Got a new band, got a couple more new journeys on your way, so keep rocking.
Oh yeah.
So I am unfamiliar with this, but what was it like to be playing on the bricks?
On the bricks.
That was our show at Fairbury.
Yeah.
That was our first ever show.
Oh, that was Fairbury, yeah.
It was really good. Fun thing about that show is that we had first started this band, I think, 2 months prior to that show.
Yeah, it was like a month or two.
Yeah, and we had a different drummer at the time, and many weeks in advance, I let them know, like, hey, I'm going to throw us into the pit, and I got to the show playing on the bricks with a band called Monsters at Bay. So we have to get a 45-minute set going. So our drummer wasn't really quite working out who we had, and so I had texted Cody and Will and said, hey, let's find a new drummer. And so then we thankfully found Josiah, and we haven't wanted to let go of him since. He's in our grip.
We've had him in a headlock for 30 days.
Exactly.
2 feet of water and salty. Yeah, Will and I had jammed. We met through the beautiful woman who's now my wife. They went to school together, and I was hanging out at home, and she was over, and she was talking about Will, and I was like, well, if he plays guitar, you should have him come over sometime. And yeah, not too long after that, she came over with Will, and I mean, we hit it off right away because we're both pretty diverse when it comes to our respective instruments, and jammed maybe a few times, and then I was like, it was somewhere over a year where I didn't talk to him. Just, he was in mistaken at that time too, so it's not like I really could have anyway. But yeah, and then I was like ready to go to bed early one night, and I get a text from Will just out of the blue. It's like 8:30, and he's like, "Hey, what are you up to?" "Nothing." "You want to come and hang out?" "Sure." "Where am I going?" And yeah, they had me go to Cody's house, and we started jamming right away. They were showing me their new songs and stuff, and I picked up on the stuff right away, and they luckily they loved it. And it was like within the week they were like, "So you want to be part of this band?" And now here I am.
Right on. So for all three of you, you guys been to a few shows so far. What could you say is your favorite place to play currently?
That's a really difficult one.
And I've always been a fan of the Keg just because it was the first venue for me where I felt really comfortable. We played it the first time, and it was like, it's just any other venue for me. Will being part of Trexler Mistaken, and I mean, plenty of other bands. He had played at Keg quite a few times. The other two, I'm sure Brian has been there before. I don't know. Cody, the same thing. Played there plenty of times, but it just became such a comfortable venue, like I said, for me after, even the first time of playing, I was like, okay, now I know what I'm kind of getting into. That was like, what, three shows in, I think.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. Yeah. We played with the Almas there. Was that our first show?
At Great Fig?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Yeah, but we were playing at the Royal Grove a few times, opened up for some pretty wicked bands there. We were loving that place. They ended up switching genres of music though, and now we've been lucky enough to play at the Bourbon, and that was crazy getting to play there for the first time. Bourbon Theater. Yeah, just because it's like one of the biggest venues in Lincoln. It's like hands down definitely favorite venue, but I really would have to say that playing at the Keg here in Lincoln has been one of my favorite venues. And then in Omaha, close second is the Drinkery. We always have a good time there. The Drinkery is a good time.
I do enjoy the Drinkery. I think out of Omaha, though, hands down, obviously, our answer for favorite venue is probably the Bourbon Theater. Because that's but I think when it comes to those littler venues, I actually enjoy Dream on the Green over in Omaha. The sound guy is always on top of it. He's on T. that's one of my biggest pet peeves is, getting somebody that knows what they're doing when it comes to, our sound. And just the room on the stage is just immaculate there because it's
The perfect amount of room.
the stage is literally a trailer house with the wall cut down.
Oh my.
Yeah, so that's gonna be my favorite to do. It's well modified.
Oh yeah.
Well modified.
Wow. So,
All right.
and for me, I think my favorite Omaha venue that we've played so far. I'd have to say, well, we had some pretty great shows at the Reverb, though we've had some, there were some difficulties on our end, sound wise, but that's that's just a give and take with any venue or any bar that has live music. But the room on that stage, and I don't know, it felt the closest to the waiting room for me, and that's my goal in Omaha. The next step is to play the waiting room. I love that stage. It's a nice big stage with a nice backstage area.
Well, I was gonna say that when it comes to the venues, like out of all time, you guys play So Cold, didn't you?
You play
You didn't play So Cold, mistaken at all? No. That used to be like my dream venue, but then they shut down. So
Not in the Admiral.
yeah.
We get
All right.
so cool.
So I have a bit of a generic question for each of you. So if you could have one final meal before you pass away, what would it be?
Taco salad.
Taco salad, okay.
So, yeah, it's gotta be taco salad or buffalo lemon pepper wings.
Ooh.
That's really good.
Why not both?
I know, right?
I think for me, for my last meal, I would want a nice 10-ounce, super fat, rare cooked steak. Well, lots of various seasonings. Got to put a little cayenne pepper on there, ground pepper, seasoning salt.
Okay.
Mix. Give me a shot of fries with that, and then just get the truck and.
For me, it's all homemade food. My mom is an amazing cook. I have to go a 3-course meal. It has to start off with her amazing enchiladas, then move on to the box stuffing that she makes. That just for some reason anybody else could make it, it just doesn't taste the same. And then end it with her tater tot casserole. That all 3 of those, I could definitely die happy.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So we're down to the final 2 questions of our interview here. So what is the future for Cyphen? Are we going to be seeing more concert dates? Are we going to be seeing another EP or maybe an album release? Are we going to be seeing more merchandise on the store? What are we going to be seeing?
So show-wise, we got a couple of shows coming up. We got one tonight at 10:20 at the Bourbon Theater. Then
We can expose.
Yep, that's a local festival here, the biggest one, I'm sure, in Lincoln, Nebraska. And then on the 25th of February, we're playing with our good friends in the Almas at Cosmic Eye Brewery, which is a great venue. It's really fun to be there, and I'm happy that they took up shows after the Royal Grove dropped from the rock and metal community. Then on top of that, what do we have? March 2nd, we have a show at 1867 with Blossom. Is that one?
Is that one?
I don't know if that's the Blossom show. That might be a different show.
Blossom and Jessam.
Yeah. So I think we got like 5 or 6 shows that are coming up. So, but we're still booking a lot of shows. We're in talks with a couple of people. So, our website, cyphenband.com, has all that on our show section.
Yeah, and then we're currently trying to get some studio dates going, and I think we're agreed on skipping an EP and just going into a straight full album for first thing that we do. Yes, sir.
All right.
And then and then merch wise, we're still in the works on ideas. We're still going to be putting out the regular stuff right now, but hopefully fairly soon we'll have stuff for our singles and all of that. Probably have to get into doing stuff with Shopify so we know what the hell's going on. But yeah, we're just kind of trucking along, trying to spend the right amount of money doing the right thing. We've already run into our own financial troubles, spending the right money on the wrong thing, and just So I think we went into this pretty gung ho, and it paid off. And we tried to keep that going, and well, we learned that you got to take it easy for now. But yeah, I think it's just what any local band does, just trying to keep stuff rolling, trying not to oversaturate. But I mean, whatever shows we can get, we're really just looking to have fun more than anything. Absolutely.
All right. Well, if you guys are trying to bust out of Nebraska, Iowa is always welcome to take in a lot of rock and roll bands. So don't be afraid to come on up here.
We'd love to play Iowa some more. We played Des Moines once, but we definitely want to play a lot more Iowa shows.
Yeah.
All right. So for our final question, I've asked every single artist and band this. What would you tell for the young and aspiring musicians who really need that motivator and inspiration to just go on stage and do what they love to just perform?
I would definitely say that no matter what you're seeing on social media platforms, and if you're seeing anybody else getting that success and getting that spotlight, to not give up yourself. Even if you're trying your hardest and you're promoting, you're posting, and you're not seeing any traction, keep going, because one of these days, that dirt road's going to turn into pavement. Mm-hmm. So just keep going.
Got anything, Will, for being in a billion bands?
Some tips for the youngins. Well, above anything, like, just learn what you can and push your limits always. And, well, I said most importantly before the most important part, which is to be yourself authentically and not care what anyone else might think about it. Like, if people say, "Oh, you're not that good at this thing," or "Hey, you should try this kind of try playing this kind of music, or play the music that I like." No, play the music you want to play. Find your voice on whatever instrument, whether it be drums, bass, guitar, theremin, hurdy-gurdy.
Yeah, whatever you can do, stick with it.
Absolutely. That's about all I got. And
I know.
The train of thought is derailed.
I'd say I'm gonna keep it a little more hard knocks, middle of the road. Like, you see all these bands that you aspire to be, and you should do what you can to be that band, but just know that they found how to do their thing because they just, they threw shit at the wall, and every once in a while it stuck. And it's just going to be that way for ever. Even those successful bands, you see all these tribulations they go through with people leaving and stuff like that. You're just going to have to deal with it. But the important part is to not give up. It's just going to be a hard road. But if you're looking to get somewhere with it, like if that's your passion is to really make it big, then go for it. But don't think that you're not going to step on a landmine every now and then. And for us, I mean, we're just looking to have fun and trying to get anything that we can that we think would be fun. But you're ultimately just going to have to try. There's no guarantee of any of it. But as long as you're having fun, that's what ultimately matters. Like Will said, whatever you're good at, just stick with that. It can be any kind of music. You don't have to. You could be super into metal, and if you can't play that kind of stuff, start going with the easier stuff. Then, maybe turn the distortion up every once in a while if you're playing guitar. Then start just getting after it and really pushing yourself. Practicing on your own is definitely what you need to do, and an hour minimum is best every day. But even in that hour, you're going to end up playing for probably that whole hour and just be completely and utterly disappointed with what you did. But don't let that dissuade you. Just learn from what you did, what you didn't like to yourself, and then when you start presenting it to people, based on their reactions, whether they like it or don't, and ultimately it's what you're feeling in your heart. And
Yeah, I totally agree with all of that. It's all very important. Just make sure you have fun and learn from your mistakes. That's pretty much all you can do at this point. So that is the end of our show, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here with me.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, thank you
Where
for having us.
where can we find you on social media so we can listen to you?
Cyphen official on all our streaming platforms, and then just searches on any Spotify, Pandora, iHeart, all that good stuff under Cyphen. You'll be able to find us. If you can't find us under Cyphen, put our songs in first.
UCYPHEN.
Yeah, you can type that into the Google search bar. It will come up now. I looked it up the other day.
Well, yeah, you type in Cyphen on Google, we have the wrong thing.
All of that will be in the description for all you listeners out there. But again, thank you guys so much for being here, and we'll talk to you later.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. God bless, man.
And that will end today's episode of Music with Mason. If you enjoyed this, please consider sharing this to all your friends and your families. This is just one of the greatest experiences ever. Cyphen, awesome. Just totally awesome. Down in Nebraska. I don't know how many bands have gotten so far that are from Nebraska, but I think we've gotten a few. Definitely cool. I love just expanding out to the different states and seeing what kind of rock genre they got down there. But, of course, I'm an Iowa kid. We love Iowa bands, but we definitely like to see what the outside has to offer. If you enjoyed these interviews so far, please consider subscribing to the channel so you're notified of all of my uploads coming up. And, I think we're doing pretty good so far. 100 subscriber special video will be dropping this week or weekend, so be ready for that. We will see you guys next time.